Nama Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prestaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swami Namane Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvisesa Sunyavadi Paschatya Sutarine Om Ajnanatirandasya Gyanam Gyanashalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Sri Chaitanya Manovistam Stapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamaya Dati Swapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Juta Padakamalam Shri Guru Vaisnavamscha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunatam Vitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Sarvadutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Sri Radha Krishna Padam Sagana Lalita Sri Visakambitamscha He Krsna Karuna Sindhu Dinabandhu Jagatpate Gopesa Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Visabhano Sute Devi Pranavami Hari Priye Vanchakalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhuvya eva cha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Jai Sri Krishna Chaitanya Sri Advaita Gadadhar Sivasadi Gaura Bhaktavinda. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Reading from the Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 5, Chapter 9, the Supreme Character of Jadabharat, text number 18. This is a prose, so it's kind of difficult for us, all of us, to follow. So I'm just going to recite myself this sloka, text number 18, even though it's in the board, but we will try. Visang amarsa rasabe surabasa bilasita brukuti bitapa kutila damstrar nupiksanattupati bayanaka vadanahantu kame bidam mahatahasam ati samvavanena Vimunchanti tata upatya Vipayasam dustanam tinaiva singvidiksha Sisnam gulatsavantam asarg asabhan Atyusnam sahaganena nityati panamata Vivalocha saitaram saparsadai sahajuga Anartacha viharacha sirakanduka itlaya. I'll just read also the translation and the purport by our founder Acharya, His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. Jai Sri Sri Radha Vrindavan Chandra Ki Jai, Sri Jagat Baladev Subhadra Maharani Ki Jai, Sri Sri Gaur Nitai Ki Jai, Guru Parampara Ki Jai, Srila Prabhupada Ki. Intolerant of the offenses committed, the infuriated goddess Kali flashed her eyes and displayed her fierce, curved teeth. Her reddish eyes glowed, and she displayed her fearsome features. She assumed a frightening body, as if she were prepared to destroy the entire creation. Leaping violently from the altar, she immediately decapitated all the rogues and thieves with the very sword with which they had intended to kill Jadabharat. She then began to drink the hot blood that flowed from the necks of the beheaded rogues and thieves, as if this blood were liquor. Indeed, she drank this intoxicant with her associates, who were witches and female demons. Becoming intoxicated with this blood, they all began to sing very loudly and dance, as though prepared to annihilate the entire universe. At the same time, they began to play with the heads of the rogues and thieves, tossing them about as if they were balls. Hare Krishna. A very graphic description here. Everything is in the Srimad Bhagavatam. Purport. It is evident from this verse that the devotees of Goddess Kali are not at all favored by her. It is Goddess Kali's work to kill and punish the demons. Goddess Kali, Durga, engages in decapitating many demons, dacoits, and other unwanted elements in society. Neglecting Krishna consciousness, foolish people try to satisfy the goddess by offering her many abominable things. But ultimately, when there is a little discrepancy in this worship, the goddess punishes the worshipper by taking his life. Demoniac people worship Goddess Kali to obtain some material benefit, but they are not excused of the sins performed in the name of worship. To sacrifice a man or animal before the deity is specifically forbidden. Hare Krishna. This episode from the Srimad Bhagavatam gives the story of Jadabharat. Huh? It's okay. You don't need to introduce me.
हरे कृष्णा। So आप में से कितने लोग वृंदावन मंदिर में गए? तो आप वहाँ पर वृंदावन मंदिर में मंगल आरती के बाद अनाउंसमेंट सुना होगा महाराज का? So we are very fortunate to have His Holiness Bhakti Anugraha Janardhan Swami Maharaj, all the way from Vrindavan to Vrindavan Chandra. So Maharaj came in touch with ISKCON in 1977 when he was at the age of 17. He met His Holiness Gopal Krishna Goswami Maharaj in 1977, and he was very inspired by Maharaj's qualities, and he got initiation from His Holiness Gopal Krishna Goswami Maharaj. And Maharaj is one of the executive member of ISKCON Vrindavan, and he preaches all over the world, UAE, US, Africa, Mauritius, India, and so many other countries. And he was traveling with His Holiness Gopal Krishna Goswami Maharaj when he was in his foreign tours, especially America, Russia, everywhere. He used to travel with His Holiness Gopal Krishna Goswami Maharaj. And he served Maharaj for 27 years continuously. And so he is very sweet singer. All of us, we have already released his sweet kirtan. So let us welcome him to Shri Radha Vrindavan Chandra Temple by chanting Hare Krishna Mahamantra. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Maharaj is very personal. Anybody can meet, small children to anybody can meet, and let us thank him and we request him, Maharaj, let him come every time, and let us relish the sweet kirtan of Maharaj. And he gives very nice class also. Hare Krishna. Thank you.
Just a correction, I was 14 years old. When I first read Srila Prabhupada's book in the Philippines, that was in 1977. More probably, or most probably, Srila Prabhupada was still around because he left in the same year, 1977, November 14. Somehow or other, I became attracted to Srila Prabhupada's movement because of his books. How many of you have been or have become attracted or been a devotee because of Srila Prabhupada's books? How about become attracted by prasadam? Both? Okay, good. Especially halava, right? So, as we were mentioning earlier, that this episode of the Bhagavatam, Srimad Bhagavatam, explains the story of Jadabharat. Now, Jadabharat, before he became a Jadabharat, he was a deer. And before becoming a deer, he was Bharat Maharaj, the eldest son of King Rishabdev. He gave up his kingdom, Bharat Maharaj, and he went to the forest to complete his meditation, his bhajan, worshipping the Supreme Personality of Godhead. But somehow or other, he became attracted to a deer. A female deer gave a birth to a baby deer. And the mother died, so he took care of the baby deer. And he became so attached to the deer that all the time he was thinking of the deer while sleeping, every time, all the time. 24 hours, that in his last breath, he was also thinking of the deer. He was already in the bhava, bhakti, a devotional service. Attaining love of God is through performing devotional service. So as we were told, we should follow sadhana bhakti first, and then we will attain bhava bhakti and then prema bhakti. And in sadhana bhakti, it is divided into two divisions. Vaidhi sadhana, this is what we're doing every day, getting up early in the morning, attending Mangal Artik, chanting our rounds, attending Guru Puja for Srila Prabhupada, Srimad Bhagavatam, and being engaged during the whole day in some practical service. And then when we become mature, then we will attain spontaneous love, raganuga, but still following the process of Vaidhi sadhana bhakti. Never a time that a pure devotee will give up this practice of coming for Mangalartik and doing all of this externally regulated principles of devotional service. So then after that, anartha nibriti, bhajana kriya, this different section of how to attain love of God. Then we become attached, then we have to taste, and then bhava bhakti. Bhava bhakti is the preliminary stage before love of God. An example is given, just like before the sun rises, before we see the sun in the horizon, we'll see the sunshine. And seeing the sunshine, we will conclude that the sun is already there. But even we have not seen the sun yet. So Bharat Maharaj was on that platform. But because he became attached to a deer, his meditation was interrupted. His meditation unto the lotus feet of Lord Krishna. And then he took birth as a deer. The one good thing about this is that he remembered his past life. A devotee of the Supreme Lord will be given this facility to remember one's life. The lifetime from previous was remembered by Bharat Maharaj. Then he became a deer. So being a deer, he doesn't want to play with the other deer. He was always in seclusion. He doesn't want to associate with them. Then after that, he took birth as Jadabharat from a pure Brahmana family. Now, it is not necessarily that a Brahmana is a Vaishnava. But a Vaishnava, automatically, is a Brahmana. So the family from which Jadabharat took birth from, they're not Vaishnavas. So in order also to avoid being contaminated, so he decided to play a dumb and deaf person, like a madman. But his father is so attached to him, he tried to teach him Vedic culture. However, as much as his father would like to teach him how to behave properly according to Vedic principles, he will do the opposite thing. His father will teach him that after you evacuate, you should take bath, wash your hands. But he will do the opposite. He will take bath and he will wash his hands before evacuating. So now his father left, passed away. And the father also had different children. And they treated Jadabharat really like, not even just like part of the family member. He was like treated like a madman. So they will feed him food that considered to be discarded, stale, impure, everything. So they thought, oh, he's useless. So why don't we just use him as like a guard in our crops, for our crops. It's like you've seen sometimes farmers, they will have a dummy person always there so that the insects of the crows and many other animals, wild pigs will not come. So they use him like that. And somehow or other, he followed them. No complaint at all. Because he is fully surrendered unto Lord Krishna. He only depends on Lord Krishna. It's like Prahlad Maharaj, his father, the king of demons, Hiranyakashipu, will treat his son knowingly that he was on the side of Lord Vishnu. So he thought to himself, Hiranyakashipu, that this is a threat for me. And he tried to kill his own son. Gave him so much punishment, so much sufferings, but Prahlad Maharaj always remembering Lord Vishnu. Never been harmed at all. So Jadabharat, somehow or other, he was in the middle of the field, and there is one leader of the dacoits. They are demoniac by nature, and he's a worshipper of Kali. It's like this time also is Durga Puja, Kali Puja. Durga, she is the personified external energy of the Supreme Lord. Parasya Shaktir Vividhaira Suyate Shabhavi Kala Jnana Kala Vala Kriyacha. Yes, the Lord has unlimited energies. He is the source of all energies. But as we have heard, there are three main energies of the Supreme Lord: Bahiranga Shakti, Antaranga Shakti, and Tatashta Shakti. Bahiranga Shakti means the spiritual world. Antaranga Shakti means the external energy, the material world. And Tatashta Shakti means the living entities. That means us, 8,400,000 species of life. So the Antaranga, the external energy of the Supreme Lord, this is the predominating energy in the material world. But even though the Bahiranga Shakti is subordinate compared to the Tatastha Shakti, the Jivas, but the Jivas can be covered up by the material energy due to our misidentification of this body as the self. It says that we cannot trace in the history when we come in contact with the material energy, even though we come in contact with the material energy. And having come in contact with the material energy, that means we become succumbed under the modes of goodness, passion, and ignorance. This is the material energy, the three modes. And Durga Devi, her duty is to keep the jivas, the conditioned souls, to be bound up, not to get out of this material world. She is a pure devotee of the Supreme Lord. One of her name also is Krsna. But her duty is a thankless task. She feels embarrassed to have Krishna in front of her. Just like a rich person may have so many maid servants. Now the maid servants, they will do their duties, cleaning out the whole house. They will cook, they will do everything. But as soon as they know that the master is coming, they will disappear. They'll go back to their quarters, servants' quarters. So Durga Devi, she's like this. She's a pure devotee of the Supreme Lord. She's just doing her duty. But her duty, she's embarrassed because putting us into illusion, binding us, not to let us go. But as soon as we prove to her that we are surrendered 100% towards the lotus feet of the Supreme Lord, then she will release us. Her illusion will not work anymore, the Mahamaya. We will be put now into Yogamaya, another kind of illusion. There is no way that a living entity, whether in the liberated platform or the conditioned platform, that he'll become free from Maya. We're always going to be in Maya. The Yoga Maya potency of the Supreme Lord covers up the eternal associates of the Supreme Lord not to see Krishna as God. For the eternal associates of the Supreme Lord not to see Krishna as God, this makes them more attached to Krishna, to the Supreme Lord. And for them, it doesn't matter whether Krishna is God or not. Sometimes they will think he may be a demigod. or a superhuman being, or he may be Narayan. But then immediately they will also forget what they're thinking, what they were trying to identify Lord Krishna. So Durga Devi, we have to please, but not by worshipping her. Because those who are worshippers of Durga Devi, they want material desires to be attained, to be accomplished. There are 33 million demigods, according to the Shastra, and Durga Devi is one of the main demigods that is being worshipped. Worshipping Durga Devi means one has material desires. Kamaistastar hitagyana. Kama is lusty desire. Kamais means many, many desires, practically unlimited desires. Usually the desire of materialists is wealth, women, prestige, adoration. So it is enjoined in the Shastras that one can worship the demigods as well. It is not prohibited. This is part of the Upasana Kanda, worshipping the demigods. But ultimately, the conclusion of the Vedas will be Vedaisya Sarvaya Aham Eva Vedya, worship of Lord Vishnu, understanding Lord Vishnu's position to be the supreme enjoyer, and we are all his eternal servants. So now, Jadabharat was chosen. They found Jadabharat in the middle of the field when the leader of the dacoits became frustrated. He became mad that because they were about to sacrifice a man, but the man, that person, escaped. So they found Jadabharat. And Jadabharat, he's a very strong person. He could have destroyed, he could have beaten all of these associates of the dacoit, but he did not. He just surrendered. But because also seeing that the devotee of Lord Krishna is going to be killed, Kali became upset. And that's why we've heard here this part. Durga means fort. Ga means very difficult, and Dur means to penetrate. So Durga means very difficult to penetrate. And the material world is like that. It's very difficult to get out. It's like a fort. You've seen kings. Have you been to Delhi? Have you seen the Red Fort? Oh, there's a fort here also. We were there the other day. We were passing by a very old fort. Yes. In the old downtown, old city. Fort, in those days, the fort means the structure where the kings will live is about at least 2 meters thick. This is 1 meter, then 1 more meter there. Nowadays, they built houses just like factory made, and it'll be just like this, 1 brick thick, right? So if there is like someone would like to destroy one's house, it'll be easily be destroyed. But the fourth, in those days, early days, so thick that the enemies cannot penetrate to go in, and if they're inside, it'll be very difficult also for them to get out. So the material world is like that also. It's very difficult to get out. It is very difficult. What's that verse? What? Daivihi sagunamai mama maya duratyaya mam ibaya prapadyante maya vitam tarantite. This divine energy of mine is very difficult to overcome. It's not so easy. It says, the Shastra says that these different elements, material energy, Bhumir apo nalo vayo kamano buddhir evacha ahankara iti yame dina prakriti astida. These 5 gross and 3 subtle elements is thicker than the other. It gets thicker and thicker and thicker. And do you know which is the thickest of them all? False ego. False ego. But we have real ego. A real ego, again, is our constitutional position that we are all servants of Lord Krishna. False ego means we try to enjoy. We try to be the supreme enjoyer. And so, Kali here, she protected Jadavarat. She protected Jadavarat, knowingly that he is a devotee of the Supreme Lord. Somehow or other, from the deity of Kali came out the real Kali, personified. And with the sword that is going to be used for killing Jadavarat, she used the same sword along with her associates to decapitate the heads of these demons. Even though they're worshippers of Kali. It's like the demigods, they are more inclined towards their worshippers if the worshippers understood that the demigods that they're worshiping, they are not the supreme. The demigod worshippers, if they understood that ultimately Krishna is the source of all the benedictions, of all the boons that they will get from the demigods whom they are worshiping, Krishna becomes pleased. And the demigods also became pleased. Unfortunately, this is not the case because they are in the mode of ignorance. Usually those demigod worshippers are in the mode of ignorance and passion. And they're not understanding that all of these material desires will also soon will be vanished. It'll be over. Once they receive the desires that they wanted to have, will also be finished. Will also disappear. Unlike in Bhakti, Bhagavad Gita says, even if we're not able to complete the process of Bhakti in this lifetime, we will continue from where we left off. If we finish 11%, next lifetime, we will start 12%. There is no loss or diminution. Nahanyate, hanyamani, sarire. Is that correct? There is no loss or diminution in this process. So here, it says here, it is evident from this verse that the devotees of Goddess Kali are not at all favored by her. Even though they're worshiping her, but because the ingredient that they want to offer to the goddess, they concoct, they speculate. Unlike for us, we don't have to speculate. Why? Because Bhagavad Gita says, Patram puspam palam toyam yomi bhakta prayachati. If one offers me a leaf, a fruit, flour, or even some water, I will accept it, provided that it is offered with love and devotion. So these demigod worshippers, they don't offer with love and devotion to the demigods. They offer something because they want something in return. So that is not pure. Pure desire to give satisfaction to the demigods that they are worshiping. Unlike the devotees, they don't care whether there is a result, that there is a reciprocation coming from Lord Krishna. They just do their duties. They will do it with love and devotion. And the best example are the Brajavasis, the inhabitants of Vrindavan. Not the present Brajavasis. To be a Brajavasi, that means you have to take birth in Vrindavan. It can be also a Brajavasi by also living in Vrindavan. But nowadays, very rare to be a genuine Brajavasi, lover of Lord Krishna. Even when Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur came to Vrindavan to perform the Brajamandal Parikrama, very early days, he says, I don't see a genuine, real Brajavasi. And that was in the 1920s. How about now? 2024. Huh? It's very rare to be a genuine devotee. For Lord Krishna to come to the material world is very rare. It's like here in our universe, in our planet, he only appears in Vrindavan. In every universe, there is a Vrindavan. He will come once in one day of Lord Brahma. One day of Lord Brahma is 8.6 billion years. Billions, not millions. So, Bhagavan is rare. Bhakta is very rare. And Bhakti is very rare. Now we're just trying to be a devotee. To be a devotee means no more material desires. Only attachment is to serve the Supreme Lord and His pure devotee. We're all just practicing. We are not professional yet. We're just like not even the apprentice. We're still like a baby learning how to crawl. We don't know how to run yet, but we want to run immediately. It is not possible. Bhakti and Bhakta and Bhagavan, they're all very rare. We don't see a pure devotee every day. We should be very, very fortunate and take advantage when we see a pure devotee. Serve him, inquire from him submissively, learn from him. So now, Jadabharat, actually, he is a pure devotee of the Supreme Lord. He's not an ordinary soul. It took him 3 lifetimes to go back home, back to Godhead. Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur also says, minimum it'll take us 3 lifetimes to go back home, back to Godhead. How is that? This is how, by chanting the Hare Krishna Mahamantra, we go back to Godhead. So, there are 3 stages in chanting the Hare Krishna Mahamantra. Namaparad, Sudanam, and Namabhas, yes. Sudanam, Namaparad, and Namabhas. So in the beginning stage of chanting the Hare Krishna Mahamantra, it is Nama Aparad. We commit so many offenses. That's why every day in our temples, to remind us, we recite the 10 offenses to be avoided. Then after that, then we'll come to Namabas, clearing stage. And after the clearing stage, Sudanam, chanting purely. Now it is possible to go back to Godhead in one lifetime after chanting the Hare Krishna Maha Mantra. But again, that is very rare. That is very rare. We have to learn proper etiquette, how to behave properly, respecting other devotees, other Vaishnavas. Without respecting and properly behaving to others, like especially those who dedicated their lives in propagating chanting the Hare Krishna Maha Mantra, we cannot go back to Godhead as well. But Prabhupada says it is possible. He was asked, how long does it take for one to go back home, back to Godhead? It's within a moment. But that moment is very rare. That moment you must be chanting many, many lifetimes also. And that moment when you chanted, once we chanted pure holy name, no more coming back to become offensive in chanting the holy name of the Lord. That means that's it. That's why Jada Bharat or Maharaj Bharat, he went back. He was not able to attain immediately love of God because he became distracted, even though he was already in the Bhava stage. But once you come to the pure stage, then no more going back. Even though externally, one will still follow and one will still be an example, like Srila Prabhupada. The best example is still he would get up early in the morning, still he would chant rounds. It is not that when we become a pure devotee, I don't have to chant Hare Krishna Maha Mantra. It is not that because when I became a pure devotee, I don't have to come for Mangalartik. I don't have to hear the Srimad Bhagavatam classes. I don't have to do anything. No. Those who are in the topmost platform of bhakti, 24 hours is not enough for them to be engaged in Krishna consciousness. 24 hours is not enough. They eat less, they sleep less, but they work 24 hours. They don't want to waste time. I was hearing memory of Das Avatar Prabhu. He was one of the last servants of our Guru Maharaj. He was giving memories of Guru Maharaj in US. And our Guru Maharaj, he doesn't waste time. Doesn't want to waste time. He will never become upset, he says. But he will only become upset if you waste his time. That's amazing. For us, we don't know how to utilize our time. We try to utilize our time as much as possible, but not wasting time. This is one of the qualities of a great devotee. As Prabhupada says, whenever you have time, chant Hare Krishna. So Jada Bharat, he did not waste time. He wanted to play deaf and dumb. He doesn't want to associate with anybody because he learned his lesson. He learned his lesson. He doesn't want to take birth again. But what about us? We have to associate, especially the Grihastas. You have to associate with non-devotees at work. Well, for the brahmacharis, it is a little safer for us. We're always under the shelter of Shri Radha Vrindavan Chandra. We can preach here, talk to the people who come here, talk to the newcomers who comes here. We may not have the same experience as the Grihastas who go to work for livelihood to maintain their family. They have to associate with non-devotees, to meet eaters, to devata worshippers. So the Grihastas, they have to be more strong, stronger than ever. You have to have your own sadhana also at home, performing your worship of the Lord. Or if you don't have any deities, at least worship the pictures of your favorite deities. Still chant your rounds, do your morning program, have Guru Puja, have Mangalartik, have Guru Puja, have Tulsi Puja. We've heard this morning, Guru Maharaj, he will never miss Mangalartik, even while traveling. And I had that experience as well. Even in the plane, we will chant the whole morning program. One line, no repetition, just one line. And wherever he is, he would always ask, even in the Grihastha home, he will ask, do you have Tulsi? I want to water Tulsi. Or in his altar, he has like a picture of Tulsi Devi also. So both ways, it's not because the Grihastha is saying, oh, we are part-time devotees. There is no such thing as part-time devotees. We're all full-time devotees here. The only difference is that those who live in the mandir, their spiritual growth is rapid. But you can also, the Grihasthas can have a rapid growth in spiritual life. You just have to be strict in your daily activities. Be more absorbed. And one may say, Maharaj, how can I think of Krishna while at work? That is a valid question. One can think of Krishna by remembering his pastimes, remembering the deities of the Lord, remembering his instructions from the Bhagavad Gita, Srimad Bhagavatam, and other literatures written and given purport by Srila Prabhupada. Remembering the Holy Dham, that you can remember Krishna. I remember when I was, before joining, I was working. But then I came to the temple once or twice. Then I decided, okay, I think, let me just stay at the temple, let me pay the rent. Give donation while working. So at work, I was always thinking about the devotees, what they are doing now. I am working, but they must be doing something. So I was always thinking, oh, what is the devotee doing? What is Bhaktimarga Swami doing now? Because I joined in Toronto. I was always thinking of the devotees. I was always thinking of the temple. What are the activities going on? So that's another way. If one leaves one's body at the time of death and thinking of a devotee, he will also go back to Godhead. If you remember Krishna, if you remember Srila Prabhupada, or if you remember your own spiritual master at the time of death, guaranteed you go back to Godhead wherever they are. So, Jadabharat is always thinking of Krishna. It doesn't matter. is only after later on it shows his real nature, his knowledge, his intelligence when he met Maharaj Rahugana. The king became his disciple. So we should always remember that somehow or other we became fortunate by having come in contact with this movement of Srila Prabhupada. We should not take this for granted. And we should also share the mission of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and Srila Prabhupada by helping others, the conditioned souls, to come on this path of bhakti. This is the only way how we can repay our disciplic succession, Lord Krishna, and our spiritual master. And in this way, if we can make only one devotee, guaranteed also you'll go back home, back to Godhead. If you can make one devotee in your lifetime, because he will, even if you're not be able to make it, he will make sure that you will go back to Godhead as well. This is like in the story of Dhruva Maharaj, yeah, and his mother. So I will stop here now. If there is any question or comments. Yes? Is there a microphone there? Okay. Yes?
It's very grateful to you for your enlightenment. You spoke about the rarity of Bhagwan, rarity of bhakti, and rarity of bhakta.
Yes.
So, and you did say that we should take his association, serve him, inquire from him. So, can you give some guidelines as to how we can detect such rare person and fall at his feet? Can you tell some guidelines?
Okay. How you can tell is not by the appearance. It is by their activities. You can tell a pure devotee of the Lord, he walk his talk. It's not just good in talking, but when it comes to practical, he's not doing it. It is not, just like majority vote. It's like, even in Vrindavan, there are many so-called devotees. They have many, many followers, thousands. But they don't do anything else. They just speak. You don't see in their character that actually they are so concerned to the conditioned souls. Unlike Srila Prabhupada, we've seen at the ripened age of 70 years old, he traveled all over the world. He made thousands of devotees. He established many temples. He wrote many books. This is rare. This is rare. So, it takes one to know one. There's a saying like that. A thief, he knows other thieves. So similarly, we have to read Srila Prabhupada's books, dive deeply, study Srila Prabhupada's book, because in Srila Prabhupada's books, descriptions are there who are in that level of love of God. It is not so easy to detect if you don't know. It's like Prabhupada says, You're looking for gold, but then you must know what gold looks like. If a person shows you an object and it is white in color and he tells you this is gold, you say, really? Yeah, how much is it? Oh, crores of rupees. Oh, this must be gold. No. What is the color of 24 karat gold? Yellow. Huh? So you must know. You must know. You must read. You must hear. Mhm. And if you are pure in your desire, Krishna will also show you. If you want to be cheated, Prabhupada says there's a lot of cheaters out there. Two kinds of personalities, the cheaters and the cheated. There is this one person and they're worshiping him like he is God. And his follower says, you are God. Oh, then the person says, oh, if you think I am God, I must be God. And they're offering him tulsi leaf unto his, not lotus feet, unto his very dirty feet. Where did you find in Prabhupada's books? Only Krishna can be offered tulsi leaves with chandan. And he is not stopping his followers. So the followers will go to hell, and definitely he'll be the first person to go to hell. No, not possible. So you can see through the actions as it is described from Prabhupada's books. Yes.
Maharaj, we heard that Bharat was very jealous towards this material world, but what was the quality of King Raghunath that he happened to receive instructions from Bharat? And
He understood when he opened his mouth. When you see, you can catch the fish from its mouth, or you can tell a fool when he speaks. As soon as a fool starts speaking, you can tell he's a fool. But Maharaj Rahugana is very intelligent. He understood when Jadabharat started to speak, because Jadabharat was very careful before he takes his right foot towards going forward. You want to make sure there's no ants, there's no living entities. That's why Maharaj Rahugana became disturbed. What is this? And Jadabharat says, maybe this lifetime you are a king. But what is the guarantee the next lifetime you'll be a king? Maybe next lifetime you'll be carrying the palanquin of another king. So again, you can tell a person when he speaks. And he concluded that he is my spiritual master. He surrendered unto Jadabharat.
but Bharat is not used to speak to people in general.
He only will speak when it's needed. You should be like this also.
What quality in Raghugara made attracted his causes so that we can
He
also-
understood that is the quality. The quality of the disciple is to hear, to listen from the instructions, from the message of a more elevated soul. You don't challenge, you don't argue. You don't say yes, but. As soon as you say yes, yes, I agree with you, but that means you are not agreeing. You are agreeing conditionally. We should agree unconditionally. Even if you know more than a person who is advanced spiritually, you don't show that you know more. You should always be like a fool in front of the spiritual master or a person who is more advanced than you are. When you start correcting him, you are doomed. There is one Sanskrit scholar of Prabhupada before Pradyumna Prabhu. And he said, I am a better Sanskrit scholar than Prabhupada. What happened to him? He left. You cannot say that. He says, I'm a better scholar than Prabhupada, Sanskrit scholar, because I know more. No? Then you will find yourself away from the association of devotees. You cannot say that, even if you know more. Okay? And Maharaj Rahugana, he's a king. How come, like, a person who's like a Sudra-like, he knows more than the king? But the king understood that he is more knowledgeable. He knows the Siddhanta. So he surrendered. So that is his qualification. He surrendered to Jadavara. It's not the position, social position, that one makes him great. No? Look at Gaur Kishore Das Babaji Maharaj. He told Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur, I'm not a scholar like you. Why you want to take initiation from me? You're considered to be the best of scholars. He doesn't know practically how to read and write. So why did he choose Gaur Kishore Das Babaji to be his guru? Because he understood that he is detached. He is fully surrendered to Krishna. Is that right?
Thank you, Maharaj.
Anything else? Yes.
Hare Krishna Maharaj.
Haribol,
Maya is positive or negative?
what do you think?
If it is
For the devotees, she is positive. For the materialist, she is negative. What are you?
Prabhuji, but for a time being, if we say that Maya is negative, so the Supreme Personality is the giver of Maya, as so because Supreme Personality is always positive, so why he has given such negative to?
She is not negative, actually. You see the sweepers here?
Yes,
The sweepers, the cleaners here? Are they negative or positive?
positive.
But they're sweeping. They're like doing like seemingly dirty job.
That is Krishna's yoga.
It's the same thing with Durga. You are not a devotee, so she wants to make sure that you are here. You have to prove that you're a devotee, then you go back to Godhead. She is the, what do you call, a caretaker of Lord Krishna here in the material world. She wanted to make sure that you better you become a devotee. So what is your choice?
Become devotee and Maya is positive.
There you go. Anything else? Okay. Mataji? Anything? Oh, right there, right there. Give her. Turn on. Don't turn it off, okay? Leave it on all the time.
Hare Krishna Maharaj, Koti Koti Dhanapram. Maharaj Gandhara was attached, Maharaj was attached to the deer and ultimately got attached. So my question is how to...
I cannot understand. Speak directly like this and slowly.
Maharaj was compassionate on the deer and ultimately got attached. So my question is how to be compassionate at the same time not getting attached.
Was that again?
Maharaj was compassionate on the deer
Yeah.
and ultimately became attached. So
Okay.
how to be compassionate but not become attached?
This is the one of the qualities of a pure devotee. Is compassionate, is merciful, is kind, is truthful. We should not lose the sight of our goal. The problem here is he lost sight of his goal to meditate on Lord Krishna. So, a pure devotee, he has all the good qualities of the demigods, but he never loses the sight of his purpose to please Krishna, to serve Krishna and his devotees. So, naturally, if you're compassionate, if you're merciful, don't get, you should give your association and not take the association of a non-devotee. Yeah, because as soon as you take their association, you say you want to compromise, you want to please them according to their level, then you'll be ensnared, you'll be captured by Maya.
Yes, Maharaj.
So yeah, don't play with the pigs, you'll get dirty also. There's a saying like that. There's a saying also, Bengali, when you go fishing, don't get wet. Now that's very difficult because you're gonna go fishing, you're gonna get wet. That means don't be attracted because externally the materialist looks very happy, isn't it? They're driving big cars and they're always like laughing, but these are all external. Real happiness is in bhakti.
Maharaj, when we go for preaching, we become compassionate on the outsider people.
Yes.
So we go for, and so we preach to them. And
Yes.
ultimately, during follow-up and all, we get attached to them. But ultimately, they don't come back.
You should be attached to them that they become a devotee. If you become attached to them that you become like them, then that is dangerous.
Yes, Maharaj.
Yeah,
Yes.
you have to be careful. Really. Lord Nityananda goes to a liquor store. But he didn't go to liquor store to buy liquor. He went inside the liquor store to save who is there. Look, he tried to save Jagai and Madai. Jagai and Madai, they're the topmost materialist 500 years ago. He was even beaten. He didn't complain. So one must be very careful. And how you become careful and strong, again, your sadhana, your chanting. Because it's easily to say, oh, it's okay, I'll just take a little bit of what they're doing so that I can bring them to bhakti. No. That little bit will be the cause of you later on to fall into Maya.
Yes, Maharaj, thank you.
Thank you. It says that if you take an inch from Maya, Maya will give you a mile. If you take an inch, one must be very careful. Okay? Hare Krishna.
हरे कृष्णा। आइए हम महाराज जी को धन्यवाद देंगे, क्योंकि हम सबको पता है कि महाराज नॉर्मली वृंदावन छोड़ते नहीं हैं। ये हमारा परम सौभाग्य है कि संकीर्तन डिपार्टमेंट की तरफ से महाराज को यहाँ इनवाइट किया गया था। हमारा जो प्रेम संकीर्तन चल रहा है इसलिए, और महाराज 2 दिन हमारे साथ में है, आज भी हमारे साथ में रहने वाले हैं। सो आइए हम महाराज का हृदयपूर्वक धन्यवाद देंगे। 3 बार हरि बोल बोलकर स्वामी महाराज की। हमारे सबके लिए खुश खबर है, कल हमारे बीच में उपस्थित रहेंगी हर ग्रेस देवकी माता जी। देवकी माता जी श्रील प्रभुपाद जी की शिष्या है। माता जी बाहर खड़ी है स्टॉल के ऊपर, जिसमें महाराज माता जी ने अलग अलग 5 किताब लिखे हैं, जो फैमिलीज के ऊपर है, रिलेशनशिप के ऊपर है, जैसे फैमिली लाइफ